All right, here we go. Today we are going to learn the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. Converse, kind of like your shoes, right? Converse, C-O-N-V-E-R-S-E. The converse of the Pythagorean theorem states that if the sides of a triangle have lengths A, B, and C, such that A squared plus B squared equals C squared, then the triangle is a right triangle. You guys should not be touching your computers. We are not calculating anything. Go down to where it says statement. Yesterday we learned if a triangle is a right triangle, then A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Every single triangle they gave to us yesterday was a right triangle. Today, they are going to flip that. If A squared plus B squared equals C squared, then the triangle is a right triangle. Today, you have to determine whether or not you have a right triangle. Okay? And you can't look at it and say it looks like 90 degrees because they're going to draw them all to look like 90 degrees. So it says, consider the triangle below with dimensions 3, 4, and 5. To determine if the triangle is a right triangle, use the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. Now, yesterday we labeled the sides A, B, and C. What was important about which sides we labeled A, B, and C? Liana?
Like, two of them were like the left, C was across from like the C was off.
Okay, true. But everything you said is absolutely right. The problem is on this one, we don't know where the 90 degrees is because they didn't mark it for us, right? And we want to assume it's down in that corner, but you can't assume that if it's not in the picture. So what was something else about the hypotenuse or about C? It's the longest side. Very good. It's the longest. So when you look at a triangle of 3, 4, 5, which one of those is the longest? 5. So this one's going to be C. Does it matter which one's A or B? No. A, B. No, because we don't know that it's a right triangle. That's what we're determining. So today what you're going to do is you're going to go A squared plus B squared and then put a box C squared. Today's only difference is you're putting a box there. Yesterday, what did we put there? An equal sign. Today we're going to put a box there. All right. What'd you say A was? So 3 squared plus, what is B? 4 squared. Put a box. 5 squared. Okay, grab that calculator. Now I'm going to show you up here. Okay, this is what your calculator should look like. Rejoice, this is the calculator you to be on, not the one you're on. Okay, then shut your laptop. All right, how do you enter a squared on here? First, what's the first number we need to square? So hit 3, and then hit this A squared button.
I did it right.
3, whoopsies.
Yeah, see, that's what happened.
And then the squared, and then hit your enter button, which is the blue. Make sure you hit enter. Make sure you hit enter. Tone, 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 tone. If you don't hit equals, it will not move it to the next line, and it will screw up the next problem. Okay, so we need to put 9 down there. 9 plus, when you guys take 4 squared, what do you get? 16. Put the box. Make sure you're hitting equals after them or that enter button. What's 5 squared? 25. Now what do we need to do? Nope. Nope, we don't have a variable here. We need to take 9 plus 16 and hit equals. What is it? 25. So when I add these two together, I get 25 box 25. Okay, what do you know about 25 and 25? They're the same. So you put an equal sign in there. If you get to put an equal sign, you get to say, yes, right triangle. You just proved that, yes, this is actually 90 degrees right here. And yet you can shortcut it to RT. You have to write that answer of, yes, it's a right triangle. So today you're trying to determine if they're equal. Let's go to our next example. A carpenter is framing a wall and needs to ensure that the wooden boards form a right angle. Determine whether the triangle shown is a right angle. So the first thing we have to do is we have to look at our picture and we have to determine what's A, what's B, and what's C. C is 10. And why is it 10, Marilyn? You're right. Because it's the longest. This is C. What do you want A to be? 6. And B to be 6. So we write A squared plus B squared. Put a box C squared. A is 8 squared. B is 6 squared. Box C is 10 squared. Use your calculator. Don't say it out loud. Everybody calculate those numbers. You can use your keyboard as well as you can use your touch screen if you want to. Eight squared is what, Petro? 64. 6 squared is 36. 10 squared is 100. What do I do next? Add them together. 64 and 36 is 100. So what symbol am I going to put in there? Equals. But what is my answer? Yes, right triangle. Yes, it's a right triangle. You have to write, yes, it's a right triangle. If you don't get credit for the problem. Okay? I want you guys to go to the back and to do that problem completely on your own. 12, 24, and 27. Determine for me whether or not it's a right triangle. You and Petro work together. Fix this. Make sure you determine which one's A, which one's B, which one's C.
Although the C is going to be the longest one. Which one is the longest one? 27. Even though it's
Oh, that looks good. Okay, what'd you guys use for A? 12. And for B? 24. And C? 27. How do you know C is 27? It's the longest. It's the biggest number. It's the biggest number. So you should have had 12 squared plus 24 squared, box 27 squared. Tegan, what is 12 squared? 144. Miss Youngkong, what is 24 squared? Hope you're making a note for yourself, aren't you? Marilyn, what's 24 squared? 576. Caitlin, what's 27 squared? Just going to calculate it quick. 729. Okay. Bryce, what do I do next? What do you get when you add those? 720? Anybody else get 720 when you added those?
Yes.
So can I put an equal sign in here?
No.
No. So what is my answer going to be? Not a right triangle. Very good. Not a right triangle. If those two numbers do not equal, not a right triangle. Okay, do the next one. Angela's creating a rectangular patio in her backyard. In order to ensure the patio has right angle corners, she measures the diagonal to create a triangle. Determine whether it is shown to be a right triangle. Pick A, B, and C and determine, I don't know, I want you to be quiet and wait. A, B, C, and determine whether or not you have a right triangle. Zayden, what'd you use for A? 13 squared? And when you took 13 squared, what'd you get? 169. Bryce, what'd you use for B? Sorry, I said Bryce, I looked at Brody. Brody, what'd you get for B? 20. And when you squared 20, what'd you get? 400. Good job. And then I'm going to put a box. Liana, what'd you put for C? And then when you squared it, you got? Very good. Sarah, what's my next step? Okay. Courtney, what does that tell me about this triangle? Very good. So we write not a right triangle. These two numbers are not equal, so it cannot be a right triangle. Okay? One more. Try that bottom one. I'm going to keep going around the room for some answers. Allison, what'd you pick for A? 63. When you squared it, what did you get?
3,900.
Petro, what'd you put for B? 60. And when you squared that, what'd you get? Very good. Sam, what'd you put for C? 7567? 69, like that, because you put 87 here, right? Okay. Jack, what's my next step? Add them up. 3969 plus 3600. Jack, what do you get? What do you guys notice? They're equal. So what does that tell us? Yes, a right triangle. Was Miss Hoff lying to you?
No. I mean, yes.
Yes, I was. Is this the hardest thing you've ever done?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
It is?
No.
No.
Yeah, that was.
Okay. This is all your homework is. But here's the deal. Some of you didn't complete your homework last night, and that's going to add up. Homework is so, so important. That's why you guys really started cruising at the end of second quarter, is because we were consistently doing homework. Don't falter now just because you may have to take it home or because it's a little bit more difficult. Okay? This is what is expected to prove your answer right or wrong on all of these. Mr. Brees and I will be around to check as you go. This is due at the start of class tomorrow.